What's up, guys? It's Scoopman 5000 back for another action figure review. And today, there's a big one. We got the Mezco 1989 Michael Keaton Batman in the house. And nice of you to show up, Mezco, with your 3-year release date on this guy. And a little convenient that he's coming out now with the Flash movie on its way and the Michael Keaton figures coming out. So now here we are. Mezco throwing their hat in the mix, even though they technically were the first. 1989 Batman, 112 Collective. You got the iconic poster on the front, very simplistic. On the side, you're getting a little bit of, I think this is Toy Biz, or back in the day. This is what the toys used to look like. On the side, same deal. And then on the back, figure photography from 3 years ago. Does he look like this? Well, let's find out. And we got a lot to go over with Michael Keaton. Let's just look at the tray. I haven't looked at a Mezco before, so it's going to be a little bit different. Now, if you have been watching the channel, I did review the McFarlane Michael Keaton, and I did bring this guy in for comparison. But I literally just took him out of his plastic, and this is what I got. As you can see, cape still intact, all the accessories are still there. So there's our Keaton Batman. I'm going to try to put this guy together, and then we'll talk about it. So remind me to never review a Mezco again, because we got a lot of accessories. And I'll start out with the heads. He's got 4 in total. Now the one on the figure here, you might notice he looks a little strange. Now if we go to the back, you see he's got a big ass lever sticking out of his head. Now I'll try to get nice up close and personal here with Mr. Keaton. You know what, actually? Let's just remove it. And then, look at that. I'm moving the eyes around. Except, it doesn't really work nicely as one would like. He starts out in kind of a cross-eyed position. He really doesn't move anywhere in this direction. But then you can move it over. And that's cool because you can make the shot of him aiming out the grappling gun. I think I'll probably debate displaying him like that, but I don't know if it'll happen. And then, yeah, as you can see, we'll start there. Magnets for the head, and this cape is a whole deal we'll get into. For these other heads, they're standard. They don't have any kind of gimmick to them. So you got your good default, your stoic expression. I feel like one of the ears is kind of off on this one, but oh well. Then you have this kind of confused, very pouty-faced version, but this is kind of what he looked like in the movie. He looks ridiculous, so good on Mezco, but it does look weird. And then it's a very similar one which is a battle damage, bloody face. But I think the battle damage looks awesome. Then up next we got 4, count them, 4 batarangs. Kind of thing that's small, so Mezco gives you a couple of them. Then you got a couple accessories. I'm not really sure what they are. This one looks like a little radio to me. And then you get a throwing star. I guess this is from one of the Joker goons. And then you get this little vial or syringe kind of deal. I don't remember that at all. And then he's got his grapnel launcher, and you got various pieces that kind of attach to this. And then you get the bat rope with the little grappling hook on it, or you just have the grappling hook that plugs into the gun. For the hands on the figure, he starts out with fists, some grip hands, some claw hands, and then some dynamic action hands. Then you have even more accessories underneath. You get another bat rope, and this time it has the batarang on it. This is more of a handheld bat rope. You get this crazy fucking grapnel accessory with a big metal brace on it. Don't remember this at all. I guess I gotta watch Batman 89 again. And then you get the tiniest accessory that I've probably ever seen. It's this little radio, and I do remember this. It's when he goes out and he says, car. And then it fucking does the little armor over the car, and then later in the movie it drives to him. Kind of looks like Batman's personal jewel to take fat rips out of. Luckily, Mezco does give you a baggie to put all your accessories in. And then I'll mention the capes now because I was surprised to find a second cape on the bottom, and the difference being one is wired and one is not wired. You get more of a drape with that one. And I was pretty relieved because I don't really like how the wired cape is sitting here. But if you look, I'm going to show you a picture, there's a lot of material. And the way that this cape attaches kind of don't make sense because Batman doesn't have a neck for it to really cling around to. And there's so much excess cape material, you can't really get the ring over the little neck to then attach the head without it floating up. So unfortunately, it looks like I'm stuck with the wired cape for now. And then we're also getting the Mezco stand with the Batman logo in yellow. And that does it. And now here we are with Michael Keaton Batman. And was he worth the wait? I don't know about this one because I think he's cool, but he feels like an experiment. Main idea being this armature, solid, seamless body. This Fison body. So I think what I'm going to do actually for the most of this review is get this cape off. Now this is the wired cape. It still has some material there. When you look at this wireless cape, ridiculous amount of excess material. And I've seen someone online cut this, but I really shouldn't be having to take scalpels to my figure and cutting out little areas. Put those capes to the side. Keep this sideways head on for now. As you can see, magnet, and then a very short neck that this cape is expected to go around. That magnet's on. He looks a little dumpy and frumpy without that cape because of the way Mezcos are very stumpy figures. And then you get into this body, and you can see he's kind of got a grayish tint to him, and in all the cracks you'll especially notice. Now apparently what this is some kind of agent, some kind of powder they put on the figure and sat it in storage for a couple years before they decided to release it. So whatever's going on with that, I've already seen that if you leave the figure like this, it will start tearing by the abs I've seen over here online. So speaking of I shouldn't have to do this, what people have been doing is getting basically automotive spray for leather seats or vinyl in your dashboard. They've been spraying this guy up or spraying a cloth, patting him down. It does give him a bit of a shine that maybe isn't accurate, but it does protect the figure. So I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to modify the cape somehow. And, you know, I'm buying a figure. He's already got so many accessories. I don't want a figure to be a project. Now, for me, this was more of a curiosity. I missed this 3 years ago. I don't even know if I was really following much of Mezco then. So I only ordered it in the recent pre-orders that went up. My wait wasn't nearly as long and fruitless as many others had. I kind of just got mine right away. I think if I was waiting a really long time for this guy, I think I'd be pretty disappointed. And I don't know if it's coming across well, but you could see I'm flexing the body here. You could see it in the abs. Like, it's a rubber gummy material. Now, I know this is a thing, the Fison bodies. You see this with a lot of customizers, and there's a lot of horny Japanese women figures of Fisons as well. But really the first kind of major figure, I think, to really embrace that technology that isn't like a Hot Toys, I think, is this guy. So definitely feels like more of an experiment than a solid release, if that makes any sense. For articulation, again, this is going to be different. So the head, you got nothing. He's on a flat magnet. None of the heads have any articulation, but to be fair to them, this is accurate to Michael Keaton's costume. It was a thick rubber cowl. He couldn't really move much. I mean, you can kind of do that, and you know what? That's about what Michael Keaton could do too, because the classic turn around if he's got to go look at his opponent. And for the rest of the body, it's going to be hard to explain what's under here, because I don't really know. It's a seamless body with some points of articulation. It's almost like a stop motion armature kind of deal. Like, I think he's literally got a metal frame under here like he's a fucking Terminator. So let's try to get this working here. The shoulder, and I'm a little afraid to move him around, but that actually feels pretty good, the shoulder. You kind of get past 90, so I appreciate that. And it is a nice effect, you know, because the suit is kind of flexing with it, so it looks kind of natural the way the little muscles here, especially, you could see they kind of go upwards. So like bicep cut, it's really nothing there. I think you're going to be able to rotate that much at all. Feel the elbow now. See, that feels limited. And the plastic or the rubber here, definitely going to bunch up. And I feel like if you go too far, you're going to start to see that elbow poke out. So I'm not going to fight with that. So it seems like the arms are kind of scary. I mean, maybe like 90. But like right there, I'd have to really start pushing if I wanted to see more. And I don't want to start pushing. So I think that's the most comfortable I can get it, is not even 90 degrees. And then for the hands, it's a ball joint, not unlike a McFarlane, so up and down. You can really turn it wherever you need. So the hands and the feet are going to be normal. Now let's try anything in the torso here. It looks like there's like kind of a upper chest movement. Yeah, not really much down. And yeah, I don't really feel anything in the middle here. Like, I would think a cut over here maybe, or even like a hula hoop action. This feels pretty solid. I'm not going to play with it. So really just an upper chest movement. The belt, here's a floating piece. There's the bat cakes. Kicking back. Again, scary. Really scary feeling. I'm going to go back that far. Not the best there. Let's see if forward's any better. And yeah, it's just hard to really get a grasp of what the ranges really are. It's a very scary feeling figure. And look, I'm pushing. Like, I don't want to break him. So I'm going to leave it at that. I have seen people get like, look, the side I think is pretty decent. But again, like my jeans, would it start busting down the seam here in the middle? I don't know. Knees, let's see. A little bit better than the elbows at least. There's a boot cut, and it's hidden well by the design of the boot. And a really nice ankle cut where you barely notice the seam because, again, the way the shoe is designed. I think Batman was wearing like fucking Nikes back in the day. Ankle rockers there. So overall, I don't know what we expected with articulation. Like even in these studio photos here, if I can get them on, really the only one where he's moving at all is right here. And even that, he's standing straight. He's like a diver. So I guess they didn't false advertise to you, but that is Keaton Batman. Articulation and all. Here we are with the McFarlane edition. And obviously this is from the Flash movie. It's Old Man Keaton. It's a different suit, closer to Batman Returns. It's a different scale, different articulation setup. These are Michael Keaton Batman, and there's 2 brand new figures. If you're a big Keaton fan, you got 2 new figures this year, so good on you. But when it comes down to value, you know, I paid $100 or something for this. I paid $20, $22 for this one. Which one did I have more fun with? I'm thinking it's McFarlane. But I am biased. Like, McFarlane is the line I collect. I will say the one thing Mezco definitely beat McFarlane with is those damn ears not looking like some alien fucking Jar Jar things up there. Oh, and I almost forgot. I just bought this guy, Bootleg City right here, NECA Batman, because I did want to do the comparison. And for a bootleg, it's not bad. And I'm surprised to see the heights, despite being 7-inch scale and 6-inch scale, pretty close here. But Keaton is shorter, so it does make sense. And I would say, honestly, if you have the NECA, and even if you have this bootleg and you're happy with that, you don't need this Mezco. But definitely he looks better than the bootleg. It's hard to do a fair comparison. This is more about the heights. And here he is with the 3 Jokers, McFarlane, who does take a couple design elements from the Keaton Batman, but he's still pretty different. This is a much better comparison with the 6-inch scale, the Mafex Hush Batman. And you know, I was about to say, Mezco, you're giving me too much cape here, but look at this. I mean, this is the Mezco cape. Look at the ridiculous amount of cape that Mafex gives you. Unbelievable amount. And this doesn't even have any kind of structure back here. Ridiculous amount of fabric here. I could wrap a baby in this. And then finally, what an awesome fucking group this is. The Crow, Eric Draven, and the Batman. We only need Darkman to complete this Gothic trilogy here. I do have some DC Mezcos, but they're kind of buried up in my collection. So for now, here's the one I got handy. Eric Draven, and I do like how this looks. These 2 probably will live next to each other on the shelf. And that is going to do it for Keaton Batman from Mezco. A little bit of a different review here, kind of slower paced, a bit more conversational, because I didn't really know how to attack this. I can't just review this like I review a McFarlane or a Marvel Legends. A lot going on here, a lot of layers. And I think he's neat, he's interesting, he's an experiment, but I don't necessarily want to buy figures to be a project. If you're a customizer already, you know, maybe you don't mind taking the knife to your figures or spraying them up with some kind of fucking automotive liquid. But I think out of the box, he's just a little bit overwhelming, a bit complicated, and he's also very limited. But I think, look, right there, he's standing there. That doesn't look bad. But I don't know if it's worth more than what if you already have the McFarlane or the NECA version. I think this is really for the super fan. So I'm going to leave it at that. Stay tuned on this channel if you want to see some more action figure reviews. I just looked at the Flash movie, and 2 out of the 3 videos I made, very Keaton-centric. So go check that out. Also go ahead and check out my second channel. We're going to be talking DC and Marvel movies over there. Make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next action figure review.